Morning, everyone. Welcome to another morning musings. Glad everyone could join us today. We've got a show that we rescheduled from Tuesday of last week. I wasn't able to go live last week, Tuesday, but we're going to go ahead and do that this morning because I don't know what's going on this Tuesday. I've got some other stuff scheduled, and I don't know if I'm going to be actually able to go live. So today we're going to be bringing Morry Straubel on the show. We're going to be talking about keeping quail in cold weather. That's probably one of the biggest questions that we get this time of year, over on the Facebook group page and whatnot. People want to know, how can I keep my quail outside? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to freeze to death or what? So with the recent storms that we had blow across the U.S., the Arctic blast or whatever they called them, Arctic clippers, I think they were. We're going to be talking a little bit about keeping quail, outside in the cold, or if you've got an outside barn or building, how to heat it. Probably one of the biggest things is people want to know how they can keep their water from freezing. But we're going to talk about that with Morry. I do have a couple things I want to go over real quick before we bring Morry on here. Shout out to our sponsors, Gopher Ridge Quail Farm. HP Murray runs Gopher Ridge, and every week he donates some hatching eggs to give away to you guys as a, kind of like a little sponsorship for the channel, and we really appreciate it. So thank you much, HP. And Hatching Time, they've been a long-time sponsor of the channel. Hatching Time gives us a $50 gift certificate every week to give away to one lucky winner, to use on their website. So appreciate that. Also, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. These sponsors are the sponsors for the Coturnix Kids program. They donate various prizes like Wholesome Harvest donates feed, Southern Biophiliac and Big Spring Quail donate hatching eggs to give away to the winners each month. Brian Sarouse supplies an incubator. Pips and Chicks and Champions Blend supply the gift certificates that we give away. And Hatching Time supplies a 2-unit cage to get the kids started. It's a layer cage, and that gets them started. So we really appreciate them. Real quick, I want to bring up the last live stream, or the last morning musings, we announced the winner of the Coturnix Kids project for December. I want to bring that up again real quick. just give a shout out to James, because we didn't go live Tuesday, which is when I told his mom that we were going to be announcing it. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Here's a picture of James and his sister on the tractor. But what James does, he helps his neighbors by mowing their lawn, and he helps his mom with the quail and the chickens and whatnot they got. His sister is allergic to chicken eggs, so they kind of got into quail to make up for that and be able to supply eggs. So James, thank you very much for submitting your write-up for the Coturnix Kids Project. Thank you to the judges who every month select. We've got 4 judges that go through and they read up all the stories that come in, and they select a winner each month. So big shout out to them. All right, let's go ahead and bring Morry in here if I can find him. Hey, Morry, what's up?
What's happening?
Same old stuff. You know it.
Yeah.
How's your weather up there, by the way? Starting to warm up.
Snow's almost gone, and it was like 45 yesterday.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, so again, Morry's going to be talking with us today about keeping quail in cold weather and what he does. He's got 2 setups. He's got a little building that he keeps quail in. He's also got a nice size aviary. I think it's about the same size as mine that he keeps quail in. Let's see. What else did I want to do real quick before we get started? Oh, we're going to be doing some giveaways today. Like I said, we've got a 30 count of Gopher Ridge hatching eggs. We got a $50 hatching time gift certificate. And Morry has donated a West Michigan quail tumbler. So that's going to go to one lucky winner. One lucky winner today. So if you're interested in the hatching eggs or the gift certificate or the tumbler, comment over in the chat room so I know who could use it. Either comment West Michigan quail, Gopher Ridge, or hatching time, and we will come back to that towards the end of the show when we announce the winners. So, Morry, what can you tell me right off the bat? What can you tell me about what you're doing to keep your quail going through the winter, and any special precautions that you've taken?
They got heat in there. They're inside my shed, my 10 by 12 shed. So I really don't have too much to worry about other than the heat.
What about birds that you keep outside in the aviary for your grow outs?
There's none in there right now, but usually I have that wrapped in plastic, and there's a heated plate for their water.
Okay. That's one of the biggest things. People wonder how to keep the water from freezing. So,
yeah, they sell those big heated plates on Amazon. They're like $35 or something.
Really? And you just set the water bottle on top of that?
And it's all temperature controlled. So if it gets below, I think it's 40 degrees, it automatically turns on.
Nice.
That's what I use for my chickens too.
I got a quick video. Let me bring this up. This is the outside of Morry's quail shed and his let me see if I can stop that real quick. Kind of explain what's going on in this image here, Morry.
The one on the left of the gray building, that's where the chickens are.
Okay.
And I was up hunting, so I didn't have time. I usually wrap that in plastic too and put a tarp on the roof. And inside the gray building is the quail. Mm-hmm. And then to the right, that's the aviary.
Yeah, what size is that aviary?
10 by 8 by 10.
8 by 10. Yeah, it's about the same size as mine, close to it. What's the thing in front of the aviary? The big tank looking thing.
Oh, that's a raised garden bed.
Oh, okay.
So the wife don't have to bend down to pull weeds.
Right.
Just makes it easier.
There's a better shot of your chicken shed.
Yeah, and that's a 12 by 12 pen.
Okay. Cool. Okay, also we've got a shot. And anybody in the chat room, let us know what you guys are doing, to keep your quail. If you're keeping them outside in the wintertime, what do you do to protect them from the weather or the elements? And some other ideas. Here's the inside of Morry's quail shed. What's that in the center there? That's an exhaust fan on top of that center cage.
That sucks out, because if you have it all locked up, when it it just creates so much moisture in there.
Right.
You get you get 100% humidity in there, and then everything starts getting all nasty. And
right.
So I got it on the lowest setting, and it just sucks all the excess out and all the bird. It's a big bird dander catcher.
Yeah, I could have probably used something like that in my setup.
It's actually pretty nice.
Okay, what's this here?
That's my heater. And I usually keep it it's between 60 and 65 in there. And then the fan,
the ceiling fan to kind of circulate everything.
Yeah, and push the hot air down.
Okay. Nice. There's a better shot of the heater. Is that a 110 or 240?
220.
220, okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people. You could actually probably, get by with just the shed without heating it. Yeah, it makes it nice, because you don't have to worry about the water. But I would imagine it doesn't get that cold in there even without the heater on.
I usually probably 35.
Does it? Yeah, so still the water should be all right then.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Let's go ahead and jump over in the chat room. If anybody's got any questions for Morry on what he's doing, or Morry, if you have any other suggestions for what people can do on their outside stuff,
I'd just wrap it in plastic.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things, is to keep the birds out of the wind, out of the direct, elements, keep them from getting wet and whatnot. You say the snow's pretty much gone now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Yeah, I know. I was watching the weather. Looks like we got a warm spell coming across the U.S., so it's going to warm up for a little bit, and then it's going to get cold again.
Yeah, I just seen we're supposed to be above average temperatures.
Wow.
Till I don't know. They're saying into January, but
right.
I don't know how they can tell that.
Yeah, right. All right, let me jump over in the chat room. We'll see who all is in the house. Like I say, if you got any questions for Morry, go ahead and post them in the chat room. If you would, type the letter Q in front of your question. That way I won't. Well, I'm going to read everything anyhow, but that way I won't miss your question. So here we go. All Out of Spoons in the house says, good morning, all. What happened here? There we go. All Clean Exteriors LLC says, good morning from West Michigan. He's up in your neck of the woods, Morry.
Oh, yeah, Zach.
Okay, so you know Zach. All right.
Yep.
Don Skins in the house is good morning from South Mississippi. Wood Tick 1970s is good morning from Central Florida. You got to watch them ticks, that's for sure. Andy Rabbit's in the house is good morning. Andy wasn't here with us last week. I think she slept in, stayed up too late, and couldn't join us. Blazing Gale says, good morning from Virginia. Got my first quail hatching in the next couple days. Cool. Good deal. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Prepolito land. Hello from Romania. Cool. Cam's in the house says, hi, y'all, from Central Florida. Glad you could join us. Tater Farm says, woohoo, good morning, all from Central Georgia. Glad you could join us, Tater Farm. Gina Klatz in the house says, good morning, everyone, or good morning. All Out of Spoons says, thanks, sponsors. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the sponsors, I mean, we could do it, but it's so much nicer to have, sponsors for like the kids program every week for the giveaways. I know you guys appreciate the giveaways. Andy Rabbit says, thank you to all the sponsors. Tater Farm says, thank you, sponsors. Twisted Garrett Farms in the house says, good morning. Good morning. Glad you could join us. David DeBarge joining us. Says good morning, everyone. Mark's joining us from Missouri. Says good morning from Missouri. Glad you could join us, Mark. Tater Farm. Okay, these are what you're looking for. David DeBarge says congratulations, James. Absolutely. James did a great job. Really appreciate his entry. Andy Rabbit says, congratulations, James. Keep helping those in need. That is special. Absolutely. Tater Farm says, congratulations to James. Andy Rabbit says, hello, Morry.
Hello.
A lot of spoons says, hello, Morry.
Oh, a lot of spoons. We just use forks.
Let's see. Cam says, my quail are bundled up in a tent city. Cool. Someone likes Daniel likes the tumbler. Says nice tumbler. Interested?
Thanks. Terry makes those for me.
Yeah. Took me a while too to find the file for that because I haven't burned or etched that one in a long time. So
Well, it's been almost a year.
exactly. Kurt's in the house. Says good morning from West Michigan.
Yeah, that's Zach's dad. What's up,
Okay.
Kurt?
Hey, Kurt. How you doing? Let's see. Andy says, do you have a pre-filter on the exhaust fan?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it. What is it?
It's like I don't know, they're Merv 8 filters,
Mm-hmm.
and you cut your own whatever size. So I put it on the end and it's taped on there. And you gotta, if you run it too high, it will suck it right through.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that on the intake side or the exhaust side?
The intake.
Okay.
Because otherwise I found out you got to take that thing down every couple of weeks, blow all that dander out. And then I was always afraid it might start a fire because it's getting warm or whatever.
Sure. Oh, speaking of fire, for those of you who know Juan Saraceno, he was actually on the show here. He's the guy that came over from Cuba, but he did a live stream with me last year, maybe the year before, his setup in Cuba. And I just got news that, well, he moved over here to Miami area. I was trying to think, Coral Gables, I think it is. And I just got news that his house burned to the ground. They had a dryer in the garage that was running, and I guess they weren't cleaning the lint out of the dryer, and it sparked a fire. The entire house burned down. If it wasn't for his wife coming home and finding his dad was in the bedroom sleeping. They may have been a lot worse than it was, but hopefully everyone was all right except for his dog. They did lose a dog in the fire, and the house is a total mess. So shout out to Juan. Sorry about what you're going through, buddy. If there's anything we can do for you, just let us know. Let's see. Tony says, I'm wondering about eggs laid in the winter for hatching. At what temperature does the embryo die, as I can't collect them the moment they are laid? What do you do in the winter time when it comes to collecting eggs for incubation?
I don't think it's.
Well, yours is heated, so you really don't have to worry about it.
But with the chickens, I mean, I've never had an issue.
Right.
I mean, obviously, if you can't get them within the day,
right.
Then yeah.
As long as the eggs aren't freezing, freezing solid, they're going to be fine. I've collected eggs. I'm in Florida, but we get down into the 30s in the wintertime, and I've collected eggs that were in lower 40s, upper 30s, and they were just fine. They incubated.
I keep all my hatching quail eggs in the refrigerator, then hatch them.
There you go.
So I don't think, if you get, obviously, if it gets really cold, then you ain't going to be able to do anything with it.
Right. That's what I think. As long as they're not freezing, I think they're going to be fine. Gina says, I have an aviary type 4x8 enclosed. It's an 8x8 is open. All of it has a roof on it. I plastic wrap the outside enclosure. I don't have electricity, so I just bring them water twice a day.
You know, I just seen the thing on, I don't remember if I was watching some YouTube channel, but they say you put like 2 tablespoons of beet juice in your water and it won't freeze.
I'll be darned.
No, I was going to try it just to see if it really worked.
Yeah, you got to. I've never heard of that.
I was going to do it before I came on here just to see if it was a, you know, a spoof or whatever, but I've been busy.
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
Butchering deer and.
Yep. No, it sounds like you got a nice setup there, Gina. Kim says, hatching time, please, to help add watering. Okay. Cam says, 10x10 chain link pen covered with 1/4 HC with 2 coops inside. Coops are covered, 3 outer sides with clear tarp that can be lifted, wind, rain, and cold. I have a cloth painter's tarp across the 2 coops. Cool. Yeah, it sounds like that would do it. Oh, and then he's with a heater inside. So there you go. Gina says, question, any tips or tricks to keep the water from freezing without electricity or heat?
Yeah, try the beet juice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would really work. I mean,
I don't know. That's why
you
I was
try it, but I've never heard of it. Matter of fact,
I mean, the only other thing there is I don't know, it'd be pretty expensive to do it that way, but use heat hand warmers.
I'm doing a quick Google search to see.
Either that or they'll eat snow.
That's what Allie from Maine's Confetti Quail Farm does. In the heart of winter, she doesn't even put water out there because it freezes so fast. She just gives them snow, and they do just fine on that.
Yeah, it's all in there. My chickens eat snow.
Yeah, it says if you mix beet juice and salt brine, it will keep the water from freezing.
Just put a little vodka in there, it won't freeze.
There you go. Let's see. Wow, it does say beet juice on the roads prevents them from icing over down to minus 25 Celsius.
Maybe it does work. I don't know.
There you go, guys. Give it a shot. See what beet juice will do in your water. All right, David says, question, my quail have completely shut down on laying eggs here in West Plains, Missouri. Is anyone else having this problem?
It's got to be a light issue.
Yeah, that's the thing right now, David, with the daylight hours being as short as they are. Mine are out in the aviary. I am not supplying supplemental lighting, and they are not laying. But I'm not worried about them. I figured, when they come in to lay in the springtime, they'll be fine for me. But yeah, give that a shot, David. Try adding some supplemental lighting, 14 to 16 hours a day. And within a couple of weeks, they should pick up and start laying again. Trader Farm says it's gotten down to 23 in central Georgia with no losses. 3-tier cages under a pole barn. Backs of cages have plywood and sides are tarp. Front is open for ventilation. They're loving life so far. Cool. Sounds like a good setup. Jason says, I've got 5-gallon bucket waterers with heat trace wrapped around the bucket and insulated, and heat trace running the length of the lines also insulated. There you go.
Yeah, that works.
Cam says, I'm just coming out of low eggs, molting from 2 eggs to 12. Lightning, I had a whole bunch of eggs in the refrigerator. So as long as the hens weren't picking on the males, I gave them a rest.
No, that's good. I mean, in the wild, they don't lay in the wintertime.
Right.
Because they don't, even if
it's normal to give them, for them to have a break. Some people just want, production year round. So, and I did that too. When I had my birds inside in the quail room, I had supplemental lighting on there. They laid year round. I hatched out year round. So Jason says the buckets have a remote fill valve with a quick connect to water hose, so I don't have to remove the bucket to fill. There you go. Andy says, yep, I was sleeping last week, had a grandbaby born at 3 a.m. Wow. Didn't get to sleep till 6 a.m., about 2 hours before you started live. Yeah, I hear you. Well,
Wow.
that's a good excuse. Congratulations on the grandbaby. Tony says, in Idaho, 27 degrees. Mine are still laying outside pens with extended lighting. I use a LED floodlight on a Walmart timer. LOL. Cool. Yeah, you keep the lights on them, they're going to lay. Sergio says, good morning from New York. Kurt says, good morning, Morry.
Good morning, Kurt.
Chad says, good morning, everyone. I haven't gotten a notification in a long time. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I get the notifications right away. A lot of times I'll start a live stream, and at the end of the live, my phone will go off and say that we're going live. So I don't know
I
what's
get them
going on
every week.
Do you?
Well, from you.
Oh, yeah. Andy says, I just wrap my quail cages with plastic feed bags to stop the wind. The top is wire under a tin roof. I don't cover it. I check the water twice a day, and they will eat ice. There you go. Kim says, congratulations, Andy. Blazing Gales' question, with the hatching time incubators, how do you know when to check for chicks? I can't see anything in the small portholes. Yeah, they are small. Eggs went into lockdown last night at day 14. Should I check in 3 days? For the most part, Blazing Gale, you can hear the chicks. Once they start hatching out, you'll actually hear them peeping. Now, I don't hear them peeping, probably because I'm not listening for them, but my wife tells me all the time, hey, you've got chicks in the incubator, so she can hear them peeping. But if you get, like, say, you're going to lockdown on day 14, on day 17 or 18, you can, crack the door real quick just to look in there, turn the light on, peek in there, and you should be able to see if you've got chicks in there. Yeah, I know what you mean about that little porthole window. It's not much. Plus, it's got that kind of distortion look to it when you look through the glass. Andy says, I'm sorry to hear about the fire. Glad Dad is okay. Poor pup. Yeah, it was sad. I mean, I've talked to Juan, several times since he was on the live stream. He came over to Florida. Actually, he was planning on coming over here to visit, but he never made it. But yeah, I mean, it's sad, but thank God everybody's okay. Bill says, good morning from Bent Cypress Homestead in Bridge. I just hope I said that right. And he says, thank you, Kim. She's a cutie, 7.9 pounds, 20 inches long. Oh, good size. Tater Farm says, sorry to hear about Juan's home. Yep, me too. David says, my neighbor is trying the beet juice, and it's supposed to let me know if it works. Can't be used on dogs. Huh. Kim says, I'm going to try some beet juice in my freezer. I already have it in my refrigerator. There you go. Chad says, mix vinegar in the water. I don't know if that would make a difference or not. You ever heard anything about vinegar, Morry?
I haven't.
No. David says they use beet mash as a de-icer on the roads. There you go. Maybe there is something to beet juice. Bill says, bread black with white, got calico or what? The black is a kind of a really strange mixture of genes to get the black. And if you bred it with white, I doubt you got calico. I mean, anything's possible. I don't really know the full genetic makeup of the blacks. That would be a good question for Rebecca over at Thieving Otter Farm. She's messed with the blacks for a while, but I would say, what you're going to get out of them is going to be tuxedos. Cam says, can quail have salt? I wouldn't give them any added salt to their diet. I mean, it should have their feed should have more than enough sodium in it for the birds. I wouldn't add anything to them.
Yeah, especially to the water.
Yeah. See, Andy Rabbit says vinegar will freeze. I have some glass bottles break from freezing outside in Texas during the ice storm a few years ago. Wow. Okay, so there you go on the vinegar. Andy Rabbit says, "What are you doing, Cookie? You back there digging to China?" Andy Rabbit says, "I'm not having much of a problem with no eggs, just a slowdown. I don't have any added light on them yet."
Well, if they're young, they'll lay.
Yeah, I'm waiting on mine. I haven't seen anything out of mine, and they got to be a good 10 or 12 weeks by now. But like I say, I'm not too concerned with them laying until springtime anyhow, when I'm ready to start hatching. Mark says, "I've been using the Farm Innovators heated rabbit water." Okay. Huh. I've never seen that.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bottle, with a little metal tube coming out the bottom or not. I don't know.
Yeah,
You want to explain that a little bit more, Mark? Appreciate it. David says, "Congratulations, Andy Rabbit, and your extended family." Absolutely. All Out of Spoons says, "Congratulations, Andy."
I just don't like putting electricity in water.
Yeah, right. Mark says, "I've been using the Farm Innovators heated rabbit waters with the brass nipples, no problem." Okay.
No.
"My quail will take water bath in the freezing weather if I don't put a rock in the bowl." Wow. It is funny. I worry about my birds when it gets chilly down here. Florida Prepper says, "Could you comment on the limited poultry and egg permit in Florida? I have several backyard flocks and would like to sell some extra eggs and young birds here and there, but don't like the requirements." Yeah, I actually looked into that when I first got into quail. You do have to have, like, if you're going to be selling eating eggs, you have to have a 3-stage water washing thing, which can just be simple tubs. They don't have to be anything fancy, big stainless sinks or anything. They do have a limit on the number of eggs that you can sell. I want to say it's been so long since I looked up the thing, but I want to say it's like 30 dozen a month, if I'm not mistaken. You'd have to look into that again. But I decided that it wasn't worth the extra effort to go out and, have somebody, inspect the place and the money you got to spend. I just didn't want to deal with it. Everybody that I've talked to, as far as like Florida Fish and Game, all the local, Department of Agriculture, they said, what did they call it? Fence sales, I believe it was, which is basically just selling hatching eggs to like your neighbors and friends and whatnot. That's no big deal. You can do that all you want. You just cannot sell hatching eggs that are going to be used for resale. So you can't sell them to a store. You can't sell them to restaurants. Basically, you got to sell them to the end user. The person you're selling to is actually going to be using those eggs. So to me, it really wasn't worth it. I mean, if you're worried about it and you want to be legal, go ahead and go through the steps. But, in 6, almost 7 years of keeping quail and selling hatching eggs and live birds, I've never had an issue. So. Let's see. Blazing Gale says, "I'll keep an ear out for peeps. I've got 67 in 3 different baskets, so they'll probably make a bit of a ruckus." Yeah, they will. You'll hear them, I'm sure of it. Cam says, "I saw Cuba's power grid was down this last week and don't know if it's up or not." Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Talking to Cam. Jason says, "Be careful with the giving any poultry salt because it can affect their kidneys." So there you go on that. All Clean Exteriors says, "Working on a circulated heated water system today for my birds," from Morry. There you go. All Out of Spoon says, A group of quail I bought had poop balls on some of their feet. How does this happen?
Not
Usually, the manure's wet. Yeah, I mean, I know you get it on some of yours too, Morry.
I did.
Yeah. What do you do to alleviate it?
I've soaked their feet in water.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, if you get poop balls, um, you can soak them in like warm water or Epsom salts, and then you can kind of break them off. It's pretty easy to do that. But the biggest thing is if you have manure buildup in the cage, they walk through it, a little bit sticks on there, and then they walk through it again, a little bit more sticks on it, and it just keeps building up. And it seems to get harder and harder as it goes.
Get
So,
off.
yeah, definitely clean it up and get it off their feet. I've even seen it on chicks in the brooder. Um, if I have too many chicks in there and there's too much manure and I don't clean every single day,
Yep.
the younger chicks will get it. So, Andy Rabbit says, my quail that are still laying with no light turned a year old in September. Okay. Data Farm says, I have 11-week-olds that still haven't started to lay or crow, maybe in the spring, or maybe they're broken. Yeah, just extend their daylight hours. If you really want to get eggs this time of year, just bump their daylight hours, to 14 or 16 hours a day, and they should do fine. Cam says, I was at the park yesterday and all these vehicles came up to play soccer and many brought big dogs. I figured I'd check the schedule and be prepared to go sell eggs for their dog as my boy gets 2 eggs. Yeah, it's good for them. Do you feed any of your dogs quail eggs, Morry?
Yeah, every day almost.
Yeah, and it's good for them.
This one loves them.
Is that Kaylee?
Yep. Oh, here comes Stone.
There's my boy. That little black dog Stone is one of Cookie's puppies. I don't think you can see. Yeah, there's Cookie right there. That's one of Cookie's pups. Andy Rabbit says, Terry, the ones of us that know what cold feels like learn not to worry about it so much after a few years. Remember, we have seen an egg frozen to a hen's chest 1 year. Wow, that would be crazy. Yeah, I know. I'm spoiled down here in Florida. I know it. David says, I decided to give up on selling eggs for eating. I'm switching to selling live birds in 2025. I just can't seem to sell enough eggs when I'm getting them. Morry, I know you don't have any problem getting rid of eggs. Give David some ideas on how to get rid of eating eggs.
I don't know. My wife takes them when she gets her nails done. I sell a lot of eggs to people at my work. We have a lady actually 2 ladies now that buy them for their dogs. They have some kind of a skin condition. Okay. And I guess the quail eggs help them.
Yeah.
But I give my dogs, each one get 1 raw quail egg a day.
Yeah. And you got a farm market that buys them from you.
Yeah, that's done now, obviously, because of the farm season, or the vegetable stands are done. But yeah, but she buys a ton.
See, it's funny because I had when I had between 300 and 500 birds out in my shop, I didn't have any problem getting rid of eggs. If I let people know that I had eating eggs available, they were gone. I kind of got away from selling eggs, both eating and hatching eggs. Selling the eating eggs was nice because it covered all my cost to feed, but the hatching eggs, to me, it's too much of a headache. 1, you got to worry about fertility. 2, you've got to worry about, if you're shipping, you got to worry about them getting there safely. And then it seems like if somebody gets a bad hatch, that's the first thing they do is jump online and, complain about your eggs and your fertility. And I didn't want to deal with that anymore. So, I just stopped shipping hatching eggs altogether. And now I'm getting away from all of it. I don't have enough birds. I mean, I've got 20 birds out in the aviary. I'm probably going to get up to about 50 when all is said and done. But if I do sell any eating eggs, it'll be just enough to cover cost of feed.
That's all I want.
Yep.
Just enough to pay for themselves.
Exactly. Morry, All Out of Spoon says, when do you cull the layers and replace them with new ones?
Yeah, females probably once every year, and the males between 6 and 8 months.
Okay. That's about what I do. Pretty close. Blazing Gale says, question, best way to tag chicks or separate out varieties? Would prefer not to toe punch or cut if possible.
Zip ties.
That's what I use. I use the little
Smallest zip
4-inch
ties.
zip
Yeah, me
ties.
too. I don't tag my birds
Mm-hmm.
because I do enough in a hatch to do one, or I got the 3 stack
Right.
hatching time cages, so I do enough to fill up that.
Gotcha.
I know when they're born. So
Right. Yeah, I would do. I was using the colored zip ties, and I would, a different color for whether it was for a different color variety or a different sex, or just to be able to identify, like which breeder those quail came from. I find that the zip ties work the best. I did have a couple people on Amazon send me some of the little what do they call those? The rings, the little, not the plastic rings that go around their foot and snap on. Some of them were numbered, some of them were just different colors, but I never really used them. The zip ties were just so much easier for me to put on. So, and the zip ties are really cheap. I mean, you go to Walmart, bag of them.
Harbor Freight, you can buy 10,000 of them for $5 or whatever.
Exactly. Let's see. Andrew Rabbit says, I either eat my eggs or I compost them or feed them back to the black soldier fly. Yep, there you go. Cam says, my boy eats 2 to 4 whole eggs, shells and all, every morning. How much are you selling eggs for? I saw a local Craigslist ad, and I can't do it. I can't do a dozen for $2.50. What are you getting, Morry?
Well, I got Asian markets right up the street, and they sell them for $3. So I just sell them for $2.50.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm just gonna have a stack full of eggs, and then you end up throwing them all away. And then I can't. Right now, I think I only got like 3 dozen eggs in mine fridge.
I started out, I was selling them I listed them for $5 a dozen. And I really wasn't getting, as many sales as I was once. Then I dropped them down to $3.50 a dozen, and I couldn't keep them in stock. So,
I mean, I'm not paying $5 a dozen for
exactly.
Quail.
Although if you go to the store and price regular chicken eggs right now, they're outrageous, and quail eggs are so much better for you.
I got so many chicken eggs too.
Yeah. David says, my wife does sell some at the workplace. However, I was giving more away than selling. Well, the nice thing about giving them away, and I found this out with the Asian markets or nail salons, whatnot, you go in there, I think I'd take like maybe 6 or 8 dozen in there and just give them away and leave a business card. And I swear within a week, they were calling me wanting more eggs. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Hispanic market's starting to get into them too.
Yep.
Really big.
Another big thing down here, which I really don't do and have the time for, is balut eggs. A lot of people have contacted me wanting balut.
I'm not going to take the time even to do them.
Right. Cam says, I use a nail clipper to cut and trim zip ties yesterday morning. There you go. David says, Morry, how much are you charging for eggs? I can't sell them for more than $2.50 a dozen, or people won't buy them.
I would, as long as, even if it covers 3/4 of every feed.
Yeah.
$2.50. Mine cover all my feed and then some, but I reap benefits of the quail too. I eat the eggs. I get to eat the birds.
No, I agree. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If the market's not there right now, drop them down to $2.50, and then you would think right now, being wintertime, there's a lot less people producing eggs due to the shorter daylight hours. So you would think that you'd be able to charge that higher price for them, because I know in the summertime, late spring and summer, everybody's got quail eggs. You pretty much have to give them away. But yeah, I would think now you'd be able to, like Morry says, take what you can get for them. It's better than, throwing them out or, feeding them to dogs or whatever. So Lazy Gale says, perfect. I've got tiny zip ties that I use on chicken chicks that will probably work well. I just need to be careful since they are so tiny. Yeah, I mean, zip tying a chick's leg, just make sure you leave a little bit of room in there. So as they start to grow, you're not going to cut off circulation in the feet. But
what are you doing?
Andy Rabbit says, I zip tie mine in the winter when I pull all my quail, or when I put all my quail in a cage together. Good idea. Cam says, I was getting 10 to 12 bucks for 18 eggs. There you go. There's Stone. He's having a good old time over there.
He wants my hat.
Cam says, over the holidays, I made a whole bunch of bread pudding that I used up a lot of eggs. There you go. Cam says, store-bought eggs and quail here are $4.99 and $5.99 for 18. Yeah, same here. I think I saw $6 at Walmart for quail eggs for a dozen. And where else was I? I think it was at Aldi's. I think I saw that for like $5 a dozen there. Was it Aldi's? Oh, maybe it was Publix or something. I don't know. Andy Rabbit says, being it takes 3 dozen quail eggs to make up 1 dozen chicken eggs, $2.50 a dozen, that and equal of $7.50 for the same amount of food. Yeah. And that, right now, a dozen chicken eggs, what did I see them for? 5 something a dozen?
Yeah, I think they were like $5.86 at Walmart or something.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What is a live bird worth? What are you selling your live birds for, Morry?
$5.
It's about what I was getting, 5 to, depending. I mean, if it's like a meat bird, or just a standard farrow, yeah, $5. Anything that's got some color, especially some of the more rare colors, you can get. I've seen 12, 15. I think I've even seen $25 live birds. I'd like to see if HP was in here. He could let us know what he's getting for his live birds that he sells. Andy Rabbit says anywhere from 3 to 5 around here. Cam says, is there a method for taking zip ties off easily? I just use
nail clippers.
Yeah, big nail clippers, toenail clippers. They work fine. Blades and Gale says, what time is it? 9:48. Cam, we have to take the zip ties off chicken, chicks, and hens and roosters with side cutters. I imagine it would work for quail too. Yeah, as long as you're careful, you're not cutting the bird's foot, I think you'd be fine too. Well, we should get a premium for better quality food than commercial raised. Absolutely. I mean, people don't realize how much goes into, hatching out and raising up quail and, collecting eggs and storing them for shipment. Plus you've got to buy the little cartons, I mean, yeah, they're not expensive, but there you go. HP Murray's in the house. He says $20 on breeders. So, there's a good example of what you can get if you want to sell birds to another quail enthusiast, that wants them for breeding.
Oh, I'd sell mine $5 for eating ones.
Yeah, it's most likely for eating. Yeah.
Because that guy that buys them to train his dogs, I just sell him live birds $5. He
Right.
buys 3, 4 at a time. Then when he's done, he eats them.
Yep. What happened here? David says, Andy, thanks. My wife has a guy at work who wants to buy live and thought $4 was a fair price.
Yeah, whatever you think's fair.
Yeah. Sundial Fragrance Reviews in the house says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us. Tater Farm says, hey, HP. Andy Rabbit says, at David adults at laying age, I would get $5 for. Okay, that brings us down to the bottom of the list. We're going to go ahead and do some giveaways real quick. So we got about 10 minutes and I got to get out of here. Let me scroll back up to the top here and see who's wanting what. Don Don Skin, you're going to get the $50 gift certificates. I saw earlier that you were looking for it. We're going to give you that. Let's see.
What's that?
Gina Klatt.
We see. Huh?
You're going to get a tumbler. Let me show off the tumbler again. You're going to get the West Michigan Quail tumbler. You check it out. You even got the Mackinac Bridge crossing the state there. Thought that was pretty cool. For those of you who I called, I need you to email me your shipping information to Terry at coturnixcorner.com. And you might want to write that down now, because when we end the live stream, it takes a while for the chat to reappear. So make sure that I get all your shipping information. I'm going to need a good address, obviously, a good email address, and a good phone number. And then I will forward that information on to our sponsors. Okay, All Clean Exteriors. You are getting some hatching eggs from Gopher Ridge. And if you would, guys, Don Skin, Gina Klatt, doesn't matter. All Clean Exteriors, make sure you include your name, because if you send it to me, your name, and I don't associate that with All Clean Exteriors, I won't know who you are or what you want. So if you would include that, I would much appreciate it. Blazing Gale says, congratulations on all the winners. Absolutely. Brendan Norton's in the house, says giveaways rock. Yes, they do. And I appreciate HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail so much for being able to do this. I think HP is probably one of the very few shippers that is still shipping right now. I know a lot of people have pulled the plug on shipping due to weather. And I don't know why, because I've shipped through the middle of winter, never had an issue. As long as, I mean, you think about it, 90% of the time your shipment is indoors. You know, yeah, it can be on a truck, but odds of them freezing are really slim. But anyhow, we're not going to go into that. So, but anyhow, thank you to all the sponsors. Thanks again to James for the write-up for the Coturnix Kids program. Morry, appreciate it much.
Yep.
You and Stone for coming on.
Yeah.
You guys are welcome anytime.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple more questions here or comments here. Andy Rabbit talked to David. $2 on day olds and add $1 a week after that. I do the same. Cam says, so this year I did not meet my goal of getting 20 families to raise quail, but it did a lot of education. 100 plus people tried raw egg shooters. Cool. There you go.
Nice.
Data Farm says, thank you for your time, Morry. Absolutely.
No problem.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of your week. I'm going to go out and start sanding on a car, getting it ready to paint. I don't know if I'm going to be going live this Tuesday. Probably not, because like I say, we're going to be working on that car for the next couple of days to get it done. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thanks again, Morry. Really appreciate it. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next week, Sunday.